When vital records are lost due to courthouse fires or other disasters, local governments often attempt to reconstruct those records to the best of their ability. These reconstructed records can be an invaluable resource for genealogists, offering a second chance to access critical information that might otherwise be lost forever. Howdy, welcome to Family History Fanatics. If you're new here, my name is Devin Noel Lee, and I love helping people find meaning and connections through their family trees. In the wake of a courthouse fire or natural disasters, county officials in the United States sometimes took steps to rebuild the record collections. This process often included creating new documents based on affidavits or testimonies from people who have knowledge of original records. For example, land deeds, probate records, or court cases might be reconstructed by interviewing individuals familiar with the original transactions or events. In Franklin County, Georgia, many records were destroyed in an 1886 fire. However, county officials were immediately set to work on reconstructing the land records. They called on residents to come forward and testify about property ownership, creating new deed books based on witness statements. Although these reconstructed records aren't perfect, they can still provide crucial information about land ownership and familiar connections without the original documents. After the 1906 earthquake and fire that destroyed many aspects of San Francisco, many county court records were lost. However, the city undertook significant efforts to reconstruct land records and other important documents. In the California San Francisco County records, dated 1824 to 1997, which are available on Family Search, you'll notice a pattern in the 1863 deeds. The handwriting throughout the book is very similar, as if they were a few scribes recording deeds in a book. While the deed book is not specifically labeled as being reconstructed, the historical knowledge that the records were destroyed and efforts were made to reconstruct the land records, and the evidence of the similar handwriting leads one to conclude such records are available even if you hear that the courthouse record burned. So never assume a record set does not exist if you hear a location in one county is on a burn list. When courthouse fires and other disasters ravaged Virginia's county records, communities were left scrambling to piece together the fragments of lost history. One lesser known but invaluable resource for researchers is the contested election files. And to be truthful, I didn't really know about these until I started researching in Virginia. These records were created when property rights, inheritances, and local political disputes were called into question during elections. Contested election files are particularly valuable for genealogists researching burned counties because they often include sworn testimonies, affidavits, and other statements that document who owned what, who lived where, and how properties changed hands. So be sure to check out this new to me record set. And if you found cool discoveries in it, please let me know in the comment section below. There is an example from Buckland County, Virginia. One compelling entry in the Virginia contested election file involves Prior Langston, who declared himself an heir to the estate of David Prior. According to his testimony, there were originally 9 heirs, 3 of whom died without issue. Langston established that he was the legal heir to 3 of those deceased siblings and was entitled to 1/6 of the estate's 166 acres. Unlike many other entries, Langston's account is rich in detail. He identifies specific portions of land, such as 50 acres under Watson B. Cobb's name, and narrates the sale of part of the contested property, even naming one of the deceased siblings involved. In another brief account, Thomas Robertson explained how he purchased 460 acres from Augustine B. Corley and the subsequent steps he took to validate his land rights. Robertson's description of his effort to secure his claim highlights the legal hurdles individuals faced when official records were incomplete or destroyed. Delayed registrations are especially common in areas where official record keeping didn't become widespread until well into the 20th century. Originally, birth records were created for public health reasons and legal proof of identity. The surge in delayed registration during the 1940s was largely driven by people applying for Social Security and other government benefits that required official proof of age. Even without a disaster, many people didn't register their children's births or marriage with civil authorities until decades after the fact. In response, county offices began accepting late applications for birth, death, and marriage certificates, often requiring proof of the event through affidavits, church records, or other supporting documents. Washington state began keeping delayed birth records in 1907, but a significant number of unrecorded births were finally registered during the 1940s. In many southern states like South Carolina, delayed birth certificates were issued for individuals born in the late 1800s and early 1900s, before birth registration became mandatory. If your research includes non-white ancestors, this collection is especially valuable as it often captured details overlooked in the contemporary birth records of the time. Take, for example, the delayed birth record of Pharaoh Foggy, which provides a wealth of information. Born November 26, 1856 in RFD, Lawrence, South Carolina. You can see the race, the nationality. Father was Wesley Foggy, born in RFD, Lawrence, South Carolina, age 71 at last birthday, but he's deceased. You see the same information or similar information for the mom. His witnesses are C.P. Simons, age 90. Wow, that's amazing. And J.P. Wharton, aged 82. Now, I think RFD stands for Rural Free Delivery, indicating a rural postal route rather than a specific town within Lawrence County, South Carolina. This tidbit alone helps to ground the family's location more precisely, but I don't know if it's accurate. I struggled figuring that out. So if you know the answer to what does RFD stands for, if I have it right, or if there's another abbreviation that I need to know about, please let me know in the comments. So with the information on Pharaoh's record, we can start making some educated guesses. Pharaoh's record indicate that his father Wesley was 71 at his last birthday and Amanda was 74, suggesting Wesley's birth year was around 1841 and Amanda's around 1839. From there, we might estimate Amanda's death year around 1915 if she lived to her stated age on the birth certificate. These calculations offer a springboard for further research into additional records for Amanda Fuller Foggy, allowing for searches within a 10 to 20 year window to capture more details about her life. Moreover, witnesses like C.P. Simons, age 90 in 1943, were likely born around 1853, meaning Simons himself might have a delayed birth record worth exploring for potential family connections. Before we continue, if I have given you value during this video, please click the like button and leave a comment. Comments bring me so much joy, and so much learning is happening in the comment section, so be sure to leave that comment. So here are a few expert tips for using reconstructed and delayed records. Ask the right questions. When contacting a county clerk or courthouse, inquire specifically about the availability of reconstructed records or delayed registrations. These won't always be listed in indexes or databases, but they may exist as a separate collection. Use the right terminology so you can ask the right questions so you can get the right answers. Review all supporting documentation. Reconstructed and delayed records are often accompanied by supporting documentation, such as those affidavits and testimonials or family Bibles and so forth. Be sure to research these and explore them as they might contain additional details. for clues about your individuals involved, as shown by Pharaoh's delayed birth record. Check for records in neighboring counties. Sometimes after a courthouse fire, neighboring counties would assist in the reconstruction process. People might have re-registered deeds or marriages in nearby jurisdictions, so it's worth expanding your search beyond the immediate area. Reconstructed and delayed records offer a second chance to uncover details about your ancestors that might otherwise not be in existence. Have you had success using reconstructed records or encountered challenges in Bern County research? Share your experiences or ask your questions in the comments below. I can't wait to hear what you say. In this viewer comment section, I want to share a comment from an artist, from Gypsy Art. She got me thinking with this comment. It is really encouraging to me that I can relate the set skills I have learned along the way to a focal point, the same way I do with my art. I asked her to explain what she meant, and she shared this. In art, I first decided what I'm going to paint and what medium, if any, I'm going to use. Essentially, plan out what I'm going to do. In genealogy, when I do it correctly, I plan which ancestor I'm going to research and plan out what I may need to research. Example, immigration files, court documents, prison records, so forth. In art, I utilize the skills of layering and what, if any, medium I use. In genealogy, I utilize the relevant census records, birth, marriage, death, land records, etc. In art, my focal point, the bit the eye is drawn to or person's face in its portrait, is the person items I'm originally intended to complete. In genealogy, I find the details that are to my person that I am researching using these methods to ensure that I have my Joe blogs and not someone else's. Oh my gosh, Gypsy Art, I totally understand. You can bring to the genealogy industry the skills you learned in other crafts or professions or other hobbies, and I love it. So thank you so much for sharing that analogy. I hope others will like it as much as I did, and as much as I did. What do you think of these ideas and recommendations? Was it helpful, or do you still have questions? Whatever your answer, can you do me a favor? Again, like this video if you haven't already, and leave a comment. Your feedback is important to keep Family History Fanatics on YouTube. Now, back to learning the next valuable genealogy research tip.